Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment, and this is the review for episode 3 of Fubar. This episode is called The Honeyplot. Yes, this will be spoilers, like the first two, but I'm only doing this episode. As I said, I'm just going to review a single episode each time, because I don't know when I'm going to get around to being able to do it. So last episode 2 ended with them on the train that they can't stop. So we begin right there with them trying to figure out how they're going to stop it. So Luke and Emma have to come up with a plan to try and slow it down, and they figure out they need to warm a part up, because I think it's like antifreeze or something that Luke pumps into the train, which he opened all four. But if they could get heat back in, it'll warm up the system and they can slow it down. And the only thing they could use is the nuclear waste. But the only way they can get it is someone has to go out onto the train to get the pipe. And it's going to be Emma. But the way they're going to do it is Luke brought the magnetic vests that Dr. Pepper, his name is Dr. Pfeiffer, but he keeps calling Dr. Pepper. So Luke is in the train attached to the roof, which is pulling Emma down, but he has to turn off the vest because she can't reach the hose, and he doesn't want to do it. And she tries to tell him, like, look, Dad, do you remember when I was a kid, you used to always throw me up in the air and you always caught me, you never missed, I trust you. But he's like, yeah, I missed you once, you fell into the thing and your mother was pissed. But he lets it go. She gets the pipe, but she's about to fall off the side, but he sticks the vest to the side and catches her, and they pour it in and it works. They manage to stop the train. So the fella who runs the systems that Rue and Aldo are in with, he was going to press a button that would just destroy the train, like it would just crash it basically. They tell him that no, he can't do it because they're undercover CIA agents, and he's like, wants identification. He's like, do we have to explain CIA to you? But they managed to stop the train. So they're on the plane. They give their update to the boss, and then Emma goes to phone home. She covers for Luke because Luke fucked up and turned on all four of the tanks. But Emma covers for him and says it was a problem with the comms. So she phones Carter to try and convince, because if you remember, Carter was upset to find out that his grandmother had lied to him about the clock. And of course, he's feeling bad because it's, someone he loved dearly lying to him, and of course she's lying to him about the job. So she's basically trying to convince him that maybe she lied to him because she cared for him. So she's trying to kind of convince him that, lying's not all bad, and he kind of agrees with her. Then we got to Burrow. Burrow has captured the fella who escaped with Luke and Emma in the first or second episode. The guy who slips Luke a letter. They catch him, and Burrow wants to know everything about Luke and Emma, who he believes are named Finn or Finley. I think it's Finley, and Dora, I think she was called. And he's going to cut the dude up with a saw and he says all he knows is he heard Luke call Emma, and that she plays the violin. So Borrow finds out Emma's name, and we find out Borrow has hired a crap ton of young people that are hackers to find Luke and Emma. So that's where Borrow is at the moment. Then we're on Luke's ship. It's not a boat, it's a ship, as he keeps saying. He finally bought it, which he named the Tally Ho, to try and win back Tally. And of course they're pointing out you've called it the Tally Ho, and he's a bit worried, so they're having a bit of a barbecue and beers on there. But they find out a few things for a mission, so they cancel the mission. But you also find out that Barry has the hots for Tina because he invited her, and she made some app or something to track certain conversations about nuclear stuff, and that's how they find out about Borrow seems to be back. So they go for a mission. Barry goes home to change, but Ro goes with him, and we find out he's a massive nerd. His house is just filled with cases of Transformers. He's a gigantic cardboard cutout of a Warhammer 40k figure at his door. To be honest, he's got stuff that would make us all jealous. We all kind of want. And Ro takes the piss out of him, basically, trying to tell him, like, yeah, you're never going to end up with her with this type of stuff. There's a nuke scientist who was kidnapped from Ireland by Borrow, and they need to try and find out how to get to him. So there's a fella who worked for him who messed up something, which I think led to this scientist getting kidnapped. I've already kind of let that slip, but all they know is the name. They believe the name is Nika, and they have to try and find her. And they all start chanting Pooh Bear, Pooh Bear, and Emma's like, what the hell is Pooh Bear? And Aldo is up, and he's jumping around for joy, while they're all chanting. They're like, he's Pooh Bear because he's got to go and do the honeypot, which is basically he needs to seduce this person to get all the information. So they go on the mission. They find out that this person, Nika, goes to a bar after the university that they work in. That's across the road. So they're on a stakeout. So Luke and Ro are in a van. Barry and Tina, of course, are back at Mary Fitness in the computer room in there, while Roland is inside getting ready to honey trap this person, and Emma is his backup sitting over in a corner. Except they hear a name being dropped, and it turns out it's not Nika, it's in fact Nick. Nikolai, it's a bloke. So they're like, shit, what do we do now? So he goes, hang on, and kind of winks at him, and he's like, yeah, he's definitely not gay. So they have to switch, which means Emma has to be the one to try and chat him up. Luke's not happy about this, but they have to go through with it. She's a bit uncomfortable because she's never kissed anyone since she got with Carter, and she doesn't want to be unfaithful, and they're trying to explain to her, you're not really going to be unfaithful. They find out where this dude lives, so Ro and Luke go to scout it out, find it. There's a flagpole outside his room, so Luke says to Ro, could you make that shot, i.e. they're going to fire a camera on so they can have eyes in the place. The only area she can do it from is a hospital, but the ward it has to be in is basically the shits ward. So she has to go to the supermarket to get a hot water bottle and consomme soup. And she comes walking into the hospital and she's holding her stomach and she's all, oh. And she asks for, like, she needs to see the doctor right now. And they're like, yeah, so does everyone else in here. Sign the form. And all of a sudden you just see this brown stuff coming out of their leg. And they're like, oh my God. Now they're speaking in foreign, but it's subtitles. And they call over a nurse and they bring her into that room quickly. And she says to the nurse, I'm so sorry about the dirty squirties. And she doesn't think the doctor's going to come quickly. And all of a sudden the doctor comes in as she's about to take the shot. So she makes him give himself an injection to knock himself out. But while all that's happening, Emma ends up back in the place with Nick. And all she has to do is get her phone next to his, because there's an app that's disguised as a game that will copy his information, but it's incredibly slow doing it. So the reason it's slow is because they're starting to pick up some of his information, and then he's just got tons of porn on his phone, weird porn, kind of BDS type stuff with all spank and stuff. And it's taken so long that Emma has no choice. She has to kind of kiss him. And then she goes to the bathroom. He gets her phone and ends up wanting to play the game. So she's like, yeah, okay. So he's playing the game. She goes into the bathroom. And they're told, like, you better get out there and distract him because he's almost at level 7. And the app only goes to level 7. After that, it defaults the phone. So they'll lose all the information again. And of course, the only way she could distract him is she walks out in nothing but her underwear. And all of a sudden, you just hear all this slapping. And they're like, the hell is that? She has him bent over the bed and she's spanking him. And she's looking for a safe. He's got a safe somewhere in the room. She thinks she spotted it, and he's like, what did you say? I didn't tell you could speak. Luke is furious. By the way, they had no comms when she went into the room, and they couldn't figure out why. But they get it to where they can hear her, but she can't hear them. So obviously she sleeps with this dude, because she wakes up in the bed, goes over while he's asleep, finds the safe, cracks the safe. Well, she doesn't crack the safe, she cuts it open, gets the file, and then turns around with him, your man Nick, standing there with a gun, asking who she is. And that's where the episode ends. Another good episode, another funny episode. It's a good show. As I said, it's very True Lies, and it's just funny. Some of the things that are said and the way they're said, like Arnold's deadpan type stuff, is funny. So I highly recommend it again. But that's episode 3. So with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.